Well, how's it going? It's Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone. So today we're going to talk about changing strings. It seems like a super simple thing, and maybe you think you know how to do it already, and most of us do, right? But there's a lot of people that actually pay other people to change their strings. So we're going to talk about a couple of things just to keep in mind, and maybe you'll pick up on a tip or two that you didn't know before. So let's check it out. All right. So today, Breedlove Premier Dreadnought, favorite acoustic I've ever had. We're going to whip the strings off of this thing. First things first, a lot of people are going to say, don't take all the strings off at the same time. I think that is stupid. There is no reason why your guitar is going to go all wonky and weird in the few minutes that it is going to take you to change strings. There's no reason. Done. I always take this opportunity. Lizard spit. Get it. Good stuff. Too clean, because I am not the kind of person that thinks that Mojo is from finger goo. No. Look at this pretty fretboard. This is ebony, but this is actually marbled ebony. This is the way they're doing it now because super black ebony ruins trees. Lizard spit, a little bit of oil. This is not to condition or moisturize. That's what humidity is for. This is just to clean off finger goo because I don't like finger goo. A little bit came off of there, but I keep my stuff pretty clean, so that's really what it's about. I don't let a lot of oil live on there. People get all twisted about how you're supposed to do that, but I don't. You may notice that I left the strings hanging here. There's a reason for that. I don't have bridge pins on my guitar, so I have to actually do this a little different. What you would normally do is you would pop those pins with, you can use the string crank. Where did the string crank go? It's got that little tool in the end of it right there, and you use that to pop those pins. Well, I have a pinless bridge. So the caution that I have to have is to make sure when I pull the string out that I don't ding the top of my guitar. I've gotten pretty good at this. In the Breedlove manual it says to put a piece of tape there or something. I've gotten pretty good at it. Just give the string a little kink and it's no big deal. See, like that? I like to just clean off underneath here before I put them strings on. I use D'Addario 13s. So I'm going to put all the strings in, and then we're going to go back to the peg head angle, and we're going to talk about how we wind strings around the tuning keys. Boom. Back to the other end. This is where it's going to get a little controversial for most people, because there's all these weird diagrams on the internet where you tie weird knots and you do all this stuff because the strings are going to slip. It's all too complicated, and as you can see, when I took the strings off of here, it makes it a whole lot easier if you just wrap them normal, but do it right, and you won't have to worry about all that stuff. This is especially important if you play out live and you got to change a string at the last minute, do something in an emergency, tech between a song. If you got some weird knot tied, like some of these goofy things that people do, it makes it super hard. If you're playing in your bedroom, you know, that's up to you. But if you want to make it easier on yourself and still stay very effective, I'm going to show you what to do. So here's the deal. What I typically do on an acoustic guitar, on the thinner strings, because it changes a little bit as the strings get fatter, but on the thinner strings, typically what I do is I go like this. I go one length to the next tuner and then a half or a little more to the next one, and I pull it back. Okay, so we're gonna go a length and a half, next tuner, then I pull it back. Okay, that gives me enough slack. Now here's the deal. If you do too many winds on this, what'll happen is it'll give you a coil that will expand and contract when you tune the guitar. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can get real close. What we've got is we've got 3 to 4 winds around the string, okay? And you'll see that this isn't all bound up and super tight, but we haven't stretched anything, we haven't done anything. That'll tighten up as we stretch. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about an effective way to stretch. But that right there is what you want. If you have too many winds and you wind over the string again, you'll have this coil that expands and contracts, okay? And when you play or you bend or you do anything stretching, it will expand and contract and it will give you tuning instability. You want the windings around the string tuners to be tight against the tuner. So that means you don't want too many winds, but you don't want too few winds either, because then it'll slip, okay? And right now the way that is, it's gonna look like it'll slip, but it won't once we stretch all the strings and everything moves and tightens up. I'll show you that in a minute. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Alright, see that? Let's go ahead and get a good close-up of this, and we'll talk about something as we switch over to the top side of the guitar. Alright, as you can see, 3 to 4 winds, nothing's overlapping each other. Everything's gripping into each other, and this is even going to tighten up a little bit as we stretch the string. Now, we did about a tuner and a half past. Alright, that's going to change a little bit as we get over to this side, because the strings are fatter, they take up more room on the peg, and we don't want to, on the post, and we don't want to have any overlap. So you'll see we'll use just a little bit less string on this side. Watch. So instead of maybe a tuner and a half, we'll just go a tuner distance. So about like, maybe like that. See there? 3 winds. Perfect. Didn't fill up the tuner, didn't fill up the post, didn't overlap. Okay, we're going to stop here and I'm going to show you something. A lot of people would think that you need to have that knot in it so that it will lock together and not slip. But as we stretch the strings here in a minute, this will slide up and it will grip into the next string and you won't have to worry about that. Alright, and there we have it. We have 3 winds at least. This one is about 2.5, but by the time it stretches and everything goes, it'll be about 3. Everything will lock into place. 3 to 4 winds over here. No strings overlapping each other, no coils overlapping. Everything looks really good, just like that. That'll all grip in and just be perfect and it won't slip. The windings grip each other, everything is fine. So let's talk about how to stretch strings. I use Korg Pitch Black. Favorite tuner. Let's go ahead and pop that thing on there. Tune this baby up to pitch. So we've got the guitar roughly tuned up to pitch. Now obviously it's sitting on the work cradle and it's not the most accurate, and I didn't worry about anything. I just tuned it up to pitch one time, okay? Now, a lot of people, you'll see them just start to pull on the string and pull on the string and pull on the string. But here's what happens. You do 2 things when you do that. You stress the saddle and the nut, and you don't stretch the string evenly across the entire length of the string. And then when you go to play it, it might be stretched really a lot at the ends and not so much at the middle, and you'll still have to deal with tuning stability problems for the first couple of days. So here's what I do. I put my finger in the first fret because I don't want to rip the nut off and I don't want to, split it out. And I take it like this between my 2 fingers like this, and I go like this. And I can feel the string actually lengthen in my finger. And I do that on all of them. About twice. Alright, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead and tune the guitar back up to pitch. What I typically find when I stretch that way is that I get about a half a step to a step out of every string. Now the guitar is roughly in tune, obviously it's laying flat so it's not perfect. But what we've also done is we've also taken the slack out of all this. This is all slid up the posts now. Everything's locked together. You're not going to have any string slip on your posts. And, you know, even though people think there's going to be. But we'll go ahead and clip our strings off. These Cruise Tools clippers are amazing. You notice I didn't have to fight anything or do any kind of sideways clipping. It drives me nuts. Those things are awesome. Let's go ahead and tune this thing up for real. Beat on it a little bit, perfectly in tune. This method of string stretching and wrapping on the post, I have 100% confidence. I could give this, I could hand this off to somebody at a gig, they could play a song, it would stay in tune in their normal tuning cycle of how they tune their guitars at a gig. I have 100% confidence in it. Without doing anything weird, without tying any knots, without making it hard on myself for the next string change. That's the key. So it's really simple. It's just a basic way to do it, and this method of measuring string length on the end is kind of foolproof because it's very you know, kind of very measured, and you get it right every time. My name is Dylan. This has been Dylan Talks Tone. I know it's a little bit more of a basic one, but hopefully it picked up a tip or two how to change strings on your guitar. We'll probably do one for electric guitars too. If you have an idea for a video or you have a question, because this and many other questions that we consider on Dylan Talks Tone are sent in by you, please do that in the comments or an email or any other way, and we will make a video just for you. Have a great day.